Hi everyone, welcome to the lecture number 4 of unit number 1, vector differentiation. In previous lecture we have discussed about differentiation of a vector function, how to differentiate a vector function, then rules of differentiation also we have discussed, and few examples related to the differentiation of vector functions we have discussed. Now in this particular lecture we are going to see the next definitions which are important for the coming topics like the directional derivatives, scalar potential, vector identities, etc. And these are the key points of the unit number 1. Okay, so very first one must know the definition of the scalar point function, then vector point function, and the vector differential operator, and remaining gradient, divergence, and curl. So let us start from the scalar point function. Scalar point function is a scalar quantity which depends for its values on one point in a space, say xyz. If xyz is any point in a space, the values of the scalar quantity of the type phi of xyz depends on the values of xyz. That is why it is called as a scalar point function. Its values depend upon the point in space, therefore it is called as, and it is scalar in nature. It don't have ijk involved. So for example, surf phi of xyz equal to x square y plus z square by 2. This is one example of a scalar point function. It is simply a surface in three-dimensional space. Such type of functions are scalar point functions whose values depend upon the values of xyz, which is a point in three-dimensional space. That is why it is called as a scalar point function. The next definition is quite similar to previous one, vector point function. Instead of just one word exchange, instead of scalar we have vector. So vector we have bar over here of that quantity, vector quantity. So we have taken one quantity f bar, capital F bar of x comma y comma z, equal to f1 of xyz into I plus f2 of xyz into j, f3 of xyz into k cap. Okay, so on the right hand side we have three components, ijk components, means we have three terms, in which in the first term we have I cap, j cap, and in the second term j cap, third term k cap. In their coefficient we have the terms of xyz. Such type of functions are vector point function. They are vector in nature, and the coefficient of ijk are terms of xyz, functions of xyz instead of points. They are not the point, they are not numbers, and they are not the functions of t. In previous lecture we have seen the vector functions where the coefficients of ijk are functions of t. They are purely vector functions of one variable. Here we have vector point function whose values depends upon the point in space, and that point is nothing but xyz. Okay, so this is like surface in three-dimensional space. F bar, just the vector. Okay, so whenever we consider any point, we'll get some vector there, and that's why it is called as a vector point function. One example I have written here, f bar of xyz equal to x square y I cap plus zj cap minus sin xy into e raised to z k cap. Okay, so this type of functions, whenever whenever this type of functions will come in front of you, they are nothing but what? Vector point function that you must know. Okay, now the next definition is a vector differential operator. This is the very important definition of this unit. Definition of vector differential operator. It is one operator which is vector in nature, and it has derivative. That's why it is differential operator. Okay, and it is denoted by del. This is the inverted triangle. Okay, and this symbol is called as del, or you can call it as a nabla also. And the value of del is, I have written here, it is equivalent to this operator, I cap into del by del x, j cap into del by del y, plus k cap into del by del z, where del by del x, del by del y, and del by del z are the first order partial derivatives. Okay, this symbol del we use for partial derivatives, and for our ordinary derivative we use the symbol capital small d. Okay, so this is difference between the symbol of derivative, partial derivative and ordinary derivative. So these are the partial derivatives. Okay, now this is one operator. Okay, del is operator. It is vector in nature. It has derivative, therefore differential operator. That's why it is called as vector differential operator. Now we are going to operate this vector on these type of functions. Either we'll operate that vector on scalar point function or on vector point function. Accordingly, we'll get some quantities, and that quantities are called as gradient, divergence, and curl. Means when we operate del on a scalar function, we get gradient of that particular scalar function, or phi you can say, that surface. When we operate del on vector point function, we get either divergence or curl depending upon the sign dot or cross involved in between. Okay, so let us discuss the next definition. So for first I will define the gradient. Okay, gradient we determine of scalar point function phi of xyz. We determine gradient of scalar functions only, okay, and not of vector functions. So means whenever we operate this del, this is a vector on scalar point function, the resulting quantity is del phi, okay, and this is vector, this is scalar, so in between will have normals, will not have any dot or cross. We have dot sign or cross sign in between two vector quantities. Here we have one vector quantity, one scalar quantity, therefore there is no dot or cross sign in between. Okay, now we just have to calculate this, and whatever we'll get on the right hand side, that will be our required gradient of the scalar point function phi, and that is nothing but the definition of a gradient of phi. So del phi equals to, use this del is I del by del x, j del by del y, k del by del z. This is the value of del, and then outside this bracket phi of xyz. So one by one, this is operator, I am going to operate this on the function phi. So I will get this type of quantity, I cap into del phi by del x, j cap into del phi by del y, plus k cap into del phi by del z. And these are the partial derivatives of the function phi with respect to x, with respect to y, and with respect to z, that we can determine easily for any scalar function. Now this can be rewrite as, we can write this del phi by del x before I cap, just for convenience. So we'll have this form of definition. So this is the value of a del phi. So what is del phi? Whenever you want to calculate gradient of any function phi, scalar function phi, you have to calculate this right hand side. That is, you find the derivatives of that function phi with respect to x, with respect to y, with respect to z, and place them in the coefficient of I, j, k. You'll get the, and add them, you'll get the required gradient of that scalar point function. So this is the definition of a gradient of phi. This is also denoted by, we can denote this by grad phi also. Okay, grad phi. So either you use this symbol del phi, or you write grad phi. The meaning of both of them is same. So this is the gradient of phi. So if I give you, if you want to calculate gradient of this function, simply find the partial derivative of this function with respect to x, with respect to y, with respect to z. Replace them here, you'll get the gradient of this particular function. Okay. So this is the definition of the gradient of a scalar point function phi. Now we'll discuss some properties of gradient. This del phi, whatever del phi we have calculated is a vector in nature. Okay, so very important note regarding definition of grad phi. Grad phi is a normal vector to the surface phi. Okay, grad phi is always, whatever gradient of phi you'll get, that will be a normal vector. It will be a vector, and it will be a normal vector, means it will be a perpendicular to that particular surface. Means whenever you want to find normal to the surface, normal to any surface, you need to calculate gradient of that surface to get the normal vector to that particular surface. And if you want to calculate the normal vector at any particular point, just substitute the value of that point xyz, that means the values of xyz, in that obtained gradient. You will get the normal vector at that particular point to the given surface. So this is the geometrical meaning of a gradient of phi. Gradient of phi helps us to determine the normal vector to that particular surface. So this is the, and we are going to use this gradient concept in the coming topic, directional derivative. Okay, So one must know how to determine gradient. One must know the definition of the gradient of y and the geometrical meaning. Both are required. Now next definition. Now whenever next definitions are divergence and curl. Okay. So there is a vector quantity, and if we operate vector on vector, okay, so when we have two vectors, so in between we'll have dot, or second possibility, in between two vectors we write what? Cross. We write always either dot or cross in between two vectors, and if one vector or one scalar, there is no need of writing anything in between. Okay, so these are the two possibilities, and these two possibilities are called as, first is called as divergence and second is called as curl. So this will be called as divergence of f bar, and this will be called as curl of f bar. Okay, so by these two we come to know that there are three definitions: gradient, and these two new definitions, curl. We calculate divergence and curl of vector quantity, that is vector point function, and we calculate gradient of scalar quantity, that is scalar point function. Okay, so this is very important. We never calculate curl of scalar quantity, we never calculate curl of scalar quantity, and we never calculate divergence of scalar quantity. We calculate gradient of scalar quantity, we calculate divergence and curl of vector quantity. So let us see the definition of these two. Okay, so I will erase this first. So very first, I will write the definition of a divergence of vector point function f bar. So divergence of f bar is also denoted by, we can write divergence of f bar like gradient. In words also you can write. The meaning of this is same as del dot f bar. So dot product, we have to carry out dot product of two vectors, and we know how to do that. The resulting quantity will be a scalar quantity. Okay, so the vector del is the vector I del by del x, j del by del y, and k del by del z, and f bar is the vector f1i, f2j, f3k that we have written earlier. So after taking dot product, how we calculate dot product of the vectors? We multiply by I component of one vector to I component of other vectors. So the I component of this is del by del x, and the I component of f bar is f1. Okay, so first quantity will be del f1 by del x. The next quantity will be del f2. Second j component is f2, and here del by del y. And third is del f3 by del, and no ijk. So these are pure partial derivatives. Partial derivative of f1 first component with respect to x, partial derivative of second component with respect to y, and partial derivative of third component of f bar with respect to z. And after adding these three derivatives, we'll get our required divergence of that particular function. So this is how we can determine the divergence. It is very simple, like dot product we have to carry out, and three derivatives we need to determine to get the final value of the divergence. Now the last definition is curl of a vector point function f bar. So I have written the definition and properties after the definition. So first, curl of f bar, you can write like this: curl f bar or del cross f bar. So it is a cross product of two vector quantities. Therefore, cross product we calculate. We know that we calculate cross product using determinant. So therefore, it is, the definition is in the form of determinant. First row is our fixed ijk. Then in the second row we have the ijk coefficient of the first vector, that is del, which are del by del x, del by del y, del by del z. And the third row, components of f bar, f1, f2, f3. These are the functions, these are the operators, derivative operators. So when we calculate determinant, so we'll get this type of terms. First term will be I into, how we calculate determinant? Del this into this. This is not like multiplication. We have one operator and we have one function. So we have to operate this operator on the function. So we'll get this type of term, del f3 by del y minus del by del z of f2, that is the partial derivative of this function with respect to z. Likewise, you calculate the remaining two terms of the determinant, and you'll get the required value of the curl of f bar. Now after this I have written some properties of curl and divergence. The first property is curl of f bar del cross f bar. Whenever you obtain curl of f bar as 0 of vector, then the vector field f bar, vector point function also called as vector field, okay, so then the vector field f bar is irrotational vector field. Yes, whenever you get the curl of some vector field as 0 bar, you can call that field as a irrotational vector field. It is also called as conservative field. Either you use the word irrotational or conservative, one and the same thing. Next, if divergence of f bar, that is del dot f bar, is 0, which is scalar quantity, then f bar is a solenoidal vector field. So whenever we obtain divergence of some vector field as 0, that field is called as a solenoidal field, vector field. And the last property, very important one, del dot f bar is not same as f bar dot del. Generally we have dot product is commutative for numbers. A bar dot b bar is same as b bar dot a bar, that we know. This dot product is commutative we say, but that result doesn't hold for this operator. Del is the operator, because of that del dot f bar is not same as f bar dot del. If you calculate both of them, you will find that both of them are not equal. This is a vector quantity, this will be an operator and this will be a scalar quantity. Both are different, that's why they are not equal. So these are the some definitions and properties from this particular lecture. Okay, so hope I have covered all the definition. In the next lecture, we'll take the examples on gradient, divergence and curl, and we'll discuss the coming topics. So these are very important definitions and properties. You must go through all these, and if you have any kind of doubt, you can ask in comment box. And that's it from this lecture. Thank you so much.